There we go. All right. Hello, my name's Gabe Lawrence. I am 37 years old. I'm with Kendall, who as of today is 7 years old, and it is July 2nd. We are interviewing somebody who is very inspirational and important in my life and the way I grew up. And anytime my kids throw food away, I always say, what would Grandma Barbara think? And anytime I turn one meal into two, I say, I learned that from Grandma Barbara. And anytime I save food, and one time Amber, this isn't about me, but one time I threw salami, or Amber threw salami away in the trash can, and I waited about 16 hours and ate it out of the trash can because it was still good. See, not even Grandma would do that. I might have one-upped her. So our recording is taken here at Grandma's house in Omaha off 120th and Center. It's like Bell Drive. So here we go. Kendall's going to ask the first question.
What do you most regret having not done? Why haven't you done it?
What do you most regret having not done? And like Grandma said, these might take a while because she has to conjure up her memories or ideas.
And the only answer I have is the fact that there isn't anything. I had a wonderful life, and there isn't anything that I really...
Wish you would have done? No skydiving?
That would be about the only thing.
Snorkeling?
No, oh, absolutely not.
Parasailing?
No. The skydiving, air balloon.
Really? I don't even think I would be skydiving.
Oh, I just think it'd be so exciting.
It would be, until you had to pull the chute and your butt was puckering up, wondering if it was going to work or not. But,
no,
all right.
Nothing in particular. Nothing
in particular is Grandma's answer. So that means she's lived a full, happy life. No regrets. Kendall?
What do you feel most grateful for in your life?
Family. I always planned on a big family. I got a big family, and fortunately, I found somebody else that wanted a big family.
So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but too bad that he didn't enjoy like I got to.
And we just hit family member number.
Number 102 is coming up.
And Grandma still sends out birthday cards for everybody, anniversary cards, Halloween cards for all the holidays. She's amazing.
That's my hobby.
That is her hobby. It's a good hobby. It keeps you busy every day of the year pretty much. All right, question number 3, Kendall.
What are some of the most important lessons you have learned in life? How did you learn them?
Most important lessons I learned in my life, what?
What are some of the most important lessons you've learned in life?
Oh, number 1 is honesty. What have I learned in life?
Well, that's one of the most important lessons, honesty. I mean, one of the most important lessons you probably instilled into me.
To be happy.
Okay.
To make your life happy. When you're depressed, just make yourself be happy.
Okay.
I mean, might be hard to do, but that is my philosophy, is just make sure that you are happy and make other people happy.
All right. And I'd like to piggyback on that. Grandma's instilled in me, obviously, to be happy, because who's the happiest guy you know? Yeah, you know who. And to be hardworking. She used to always have me do chores around the house, even though I didn't like them, and said mean things about her behind her back. It worked out in the long run and helped me out. And she definitely taught me that basically Ben Franklin's old saying, a penny saved is a penny earned, because what's one thing Papa doesn't like to part with?
Money.
Yep, Papa doesn't like to part with money. Next question.
Can you paint a picture of your childhood household?
Can you paint a picture of your childhood household? So tell me about your household growing up.
Not too much to tell. It was, we were poor. We can't say that I missed out on anything. I always felt, how do I want to say?
You always felt rich, or you always felt?
I always was embarrassed to a point that I couldn't keep up with other people, not material-wise, or I just felt belittled. What's the word?
not ashamed, but you just
No.
felt like you couldn't compete with
Yeah.
what they had
Yeah.
house-wise and clothing-wise? And
Right, and a lot of I ran around with rich people.
well, there's your problem. You
Yeah.
got to hang out with poor people.
Yeah.
So,
But we had a very loving household.
what about
Perfect parents.
what about siblings? Did you have your own room, or did you share it with 3 people?
Oh yeah, there was a time when we had 2 bedrooms with 4 kids, and there were 4 of us sleeping in one bed.
Oh my gosh. Kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, remember? So, what else can we think
Yeah.
of? So she had 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms?
2 bedrooms.
Between you and 4 kids, 4 kids
Uh-huh.
slept in the same bed.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it wasn't
That's
a
when we were
king-size
little.
bed.
That's when we were very little.
But still, I'm guessing it wasn't a king-size bed, right?
No, it
It's like
don't.
a double at best?
Yeah, like I say, we didn't have money, but we had I had a great childhood.
Okay. I know this question's on here later. We'll skip it if we get to it, but it just seems like it goes with this. Can you tell me more about my great-grandpa and grandma?
There isn't too much to tell because my dad died when I was 14.
Oh, okay.
And he went in for a back operation, and the hospital gave him the wrong blood, and he died 28 years later.
Nowadays, we'd all be rich because that'd be malpractice, and Grandma would have a big check because of that.
And Grandma said it was God's will.
Oh.
That's as far as it went.
What about Grandma Chrissy?
Grandma Chrissy was a fantastic woman. I loved her dearly.
I didn't realize that. So Grandma Chrissy kind of laid the foundation for you and kind of
Right.
showed you how to raise a family by one parent, right?
Yeah.
Because she never remarried. Right?
No, she never remarried. Grandpa was, my dad was 44 when he died, and your grandfather was 44 when he died. They were married 22 years, and we were married 22 years.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Did you know that? The recording can't see you shake your head and smile. Can you tell us? Did you know that, Kendall?
No.
What's something we just learned about Grandma today? Because I never knew that. Tell me it.
She was married for 4 years.
22 years, right? Did you say 22?
22 years.
And Grandpa died at 44?
44,
And
and
her
great-grandmother.
father died at 44. That's amazing. I did not know
Oh,
that.
I have something else to say about Grandma. Grandma, I wanted to tell you this because I don't know if you've ever heard it. Grandma lived with me before she died because she had bone cancer. And she wanted the doctor to always be honest with her. And the doctor came to our house and sat us down and said, "Chrissy, you have 3 weeks to live." And Grandma's tears started rolling, and she says, "Now I know what Grandpa meant when he hated to leave the family." And what did I do? You're speechless. You don't know how to console them or anything. And I just put my arms around her and says, "Just think of all the people you have up there waiting for you."
Oh, what do you think up there is?
Heaven.
Yeah. All right. So all the people in heaven waiting for Grandpa or Grandma. That's sweet. Next question, Kendall.
Can you tell me your thoughts about God?
Can you tell us your thoughts about God? Or do you want to go into depth about that?
No, not into depth, but trust in the Lord and give yourself to the Lord.
Yeah. I remember Grandma.
Whatever you do, do it for God's honor and glory.
I remember Grandma always making us go to church. She's probably one of the main reasons we went to Catholic grade school, which helped us lay a good foundation of religion and realize there's a higher being that's looking after us and making sure we do right from wrong. And she's always told me to take my kids to church. And Kendall likes church, so next question. You want to do it? You got to say it loud. How did you meet your husband?
Oh, there's a little story about that. The truth is that we don't remember when we first met each other because sometime prior, Grandpa was in the service, and I kind of ran around with one of his friends. Didn't date him, but ran around with one of his friends. And one day we were driving, and he said, "Barb, I've got a friend that's coming home from the service. I'd like you to meet him. I think you two would hit it off. And I says, what does he look like? And he showed me a picture, and I said, you mean to tell me you'd fix me up with that? And it was really a terrible picture of him because he was in the sun squinting and smoking a pipe.
Oh.
And so anyway, when we met, I don't recall, and Grandpa couldn't recall either. And we started dating, and
So
several years later, we got married.
did you guys go on multiple? Okay, so you dated for about 2 years before you got
Yeah.
married? 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
So when you don't remember first seeing him and being like, oh, this is a breathtaking man, be still my heart.
No, except, there is something else to tell about that. After we had met and we were driving around in his car, and I was looking through his billfold, and he had this same picture of this other guy in his billfold, and I said, oh my gosh, Pete was going to fix me up with him. And here it was he himself.
Wait, Grandpa had a picture of himself in his
In
billfold?
his billfold, the same picture that Pete had.
Maybe that's why all of us Lawrence's males are not conceited, but we like ourselves. No doubt about it. Ready, Kendall? Next question.
Did you have a nickname, and if so, can you tell me the story of how you got it?
Nickname. I was called Babs, B-A-B-S. I was called Babs by most of the family when I was a little girl. In high school, I was called Bobby.
Really? Bobby?
Bobby. And I was also called Barbie.
I could see that, but Bobby's short for Barbara,
Uh-huh.
and they just call okay.
Yeah.
So did you like those nicknames?
Not
No?
particularly.
You'd rather just have them
But
call you...
I still had one Aunt Leona. She was still calling me Babs when she died.
That's like Leslie still calls me Gaby Baby, and every time I want to say, quit calling me that, I'm 38 years old. But it's cute. It's kind of endearing.
Yeah.
So, next question. It's a long one. Read it loud.
Can you tell me about your relationship with your parents? Do you remember a time when you felt particularly close to either one of them? Do you remember a time when you made them angry?
Okay, so Grandma told us about her parents. Do you want to tell more? Elaborate on that at all?
No, I can tell you one thing. My sister, there were 4 children in my family. My sister was 6 years older than I was. And anytime she wanted anything, she'd say, Barb, you go ask him because he'll let you do anything.
So do you think you were the favorite?
Oh,
Deep down
yeah.
inside? What do you think
my
made you
dad
the
and I
favorite?
were really close.
Aw.
We were really close. Yeah.
So did you take it hard at 14? Because that must have been an age where you,
Yes.
or did you kind of put that all on the back?
Oh, no, I took it hard.
Did you?
Yeah.
So do you remember a time, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, for anger, I don't remember my dad ever being angry with me. Or my mother. I mean, it's just we had such a good relationship that if they were angry at me, it was forgotten right away.
Did they swap back then? Spank?
If they did, I don't remember.
You don't remember it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's cute. I didn't realize you were a daddy
Brat.
girl so much. No, not a brat if you didn't get spanked that much. Walker, I got a whole picture book of him in the corner. Just 98 pages of him in the corner. All right, let's see. Do you remember a time, yeah, made him angry? No? All right. Next question, read it loud.
What was the worst thing?
Grandma ever did. What was the worst thing Grandma ever did? Mine is,
I'm such a good
An
kid.
angel?
I didn't do anything wrong.
so did it never cross your mind? Did you ever think, hey, I'd love to do this?
I've done plenty wrong, believe me. One of the things that I did wrong was that Grandpa and I were dating, and I was in nurses training, and the doors were locked to get back in the dorm, and my friend and I came in late when the doors were locked, and we walked up the fire escape, and we got in, climbed into the window, and who's waiting there? But the nuns were waiting there.
Oh,
for
no
us.
kidding. For the nurse's place?
Yeah.
Did you lie to them, or did you say we accidentally got locked out, or did you tell them the truth?
No, well, they knew
Oh, okay.
we were past curfew.
Oh, okay. So you I didn't realize you wanted to be a nurse?
Yeah, I only stayed 1 year because then Grandpa and I decided to get married.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I
cool.
worked for a year so I could earn enough money to afford
Walker, or Dawson, hush. So did you all your life did you want to be a nurse, or did that kind of just fall into your lap?
I don't know. In my teenage years, maybe I decided that's what I wanted to do.
I think you would have been a good nurse because you just seem like the kind of person who'd have like good bedside manner and be able to, you know, you're a caring person, so obviously that would be good with patients. All right, Kendall, next question, babe. We only have,
Who are your
we have
parents?
9 more.
And can you tell
Okay,
me
we already
about
asked that one. I asked that one twice. I accidentally added it. Or who were your parents, and can you tell me about them? Good. Next one.
Do you know the story of how our family first came to this country?
Story of what?
So how did the Zerlines first come to this country?
The Zerlines, I don't know exactly the whole story about anything. All I know is that my great-grandfather was a stowaway on a ship.
Really? Like what kind of ship? Do you know? Was it
Have
the ship that was
no
carrying?
idea.
Okay.
That was just passed down to
Your
us.
great-grandfather or
No,
great-grandfather?
my great-grandfather.
So Leo's, or was it Grandma Chris, or just one or the other?
George. Okay, there's my great-grandfather, my grandfather George, my father Leo.
Oh, okay. Father Leo,
And
great-grandfather.
as far as the Browns, I don't know how the Browns came over. I just know that once they settled in Humphrey, Nebraska, they set up the nuns came from Germany. A group of nuns came from Germany to start a school in Humphrey, Nebraska, and they put up the nuns in their home.
Oh, okay. So
But I don't know background.
great-grandma's maiden name was Braun. I know I've heard that before, but I probably don't. If I was on Jeopardy and that was a question, I'd get it wrong because I wouldn't recall it. And then
I had a good relationship with my grandmother and grandpa. I have to tell you this, though. My grandfather, I don't remember a lot about him. I remember him, but he was a very quiet man. He one day told me when they lived in Grand Island, he was in his den, and I came in to say hi to him, and he said, I don't know what led into the statement, but he says, you know, if you put a clothespin on your nose, it wouldn't be so big.
Could you imagine your grandpa saying that to you? So did you think was he just joking with you, or did you never even think about it?
Well, apparently I thought about it because I still remember it.
But you had thick skin. It wasn't like you were self-conscious about it the rest of your life or anything, because I think all of us Lawrences have great noses. All right. So next question. Great. Okay. So I also know this. I've heard this plenty of times. You've told me, but okay. Leo's my great-grandpa. George is my great-great-grandpa. And then who's above George?
I don't know.
Okay, so George.
In fact, I didn't know them too well because we got to see them once a year when they lived in Madison, Nebraska. We'd go out and visit them once a year.
Okay.
And his wife died before any of the grandchildren were born. She died. They say she died of a broken heart because her oldest son was in World War I, and his name was Michael, and he went down on a ship. What ship would it have been?
A submarine or like a...
No, a ship that they were transferring a bunch of people. They had arms on it also.
Wait, and then it opened up and people ran off it to fight, or was it just like...
No, this is First World War.
Oh, okay.
And I can't think of the name of the ship, but anyway, it's in the history book.
Oh, really?
And Mike went down with that ship.
Really?
Yeah. But
I didn't know
can't
that.
think
We'll have to look into that. World War I, famous ship that went down, and that would have been your...
Or it was attacked. Maybe it didn't go down. It was attacked and everything.
And that would have been your great uncle?
Yes.
Huh.
No, it would have been
Just your
my
uncle?
dad's brother.
Okay.
So my uncle.
So uncle,
Yeah.
okay. I don't think I've ever heard that either. Oh, and then since I didn't ask this already, and it's not in here, regarding kids' names, I've always wondered this. Just thought of them in a moment's notice, or did you have them?
My own children?
Yeah. Did you have them all chambered and ready to go, or was it they look like this?
No,
I know.
they were all thought of and planned prior to their birth. In fact, when I have to tell you about Happy, how he got his name. I wanted to call him. I was suggested the name Patrick, and Dad said. Grandpa said, no, that's not it. And after going through months and thinking of a name and everything, he called me one day from work and says, "Hey, I got the name, Patrick." And I said that to begin with. Well, anyway, then after Patrick was born, my neighbor was over and said, "Oh, Barb, he is one of the happiest babies I've ever seen, and you ought to call him Happy." And I said, "Oh, how ironic that is, because that was my own dad's name. On his tombstone, it says Happy."
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. That's cool. What about, okay, then
And
Patrick.
Oh, I was just going to say that a lot of the names I got off of names I would watch television, and I thought, "Oh, I like that name," and that's where a lot of the names came from.
Was there any debate, like maybe one of the kids, if they were born a girl, they would have been this name or that name?
Yes. Patrick and Patrice, we had picked out for the same.
Oh, okay, so you just waited till the next
So
child.
the next one was Patrice.
Okay, cute.
Oh, there was something else I was going to say about the names. Oh, well.
Okay, and then nicknames too. I mean, obviously,
Oh,
D for Denise, Di for Diane.
Right.
Happy's probably the only one that I can think of really that is kind of odd. But what about, I mean, Lottie was just Leslie, basically. People just started calling her Lottie.
Yes, and I never called her Lottie, but she wanted to be called Lottie, and so I think Dee was the one that started it. And I said, that's funny because there was a Lottie great aunt.
That's cool.
Mm.
Same thing with Happy. That's amazing.
And her real name was Charlotte, and they called her Lottie.
How come? You know that one?
Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte Lottie. That makes sense. And then what about Chip? Was he a Chip off the old block? Is that why you
Chip
called
was
him?
because we always said that we would never have a junior, a Barbara or a Conrad, and then we did find out that Con was going to die, and I said, "That's too bad, we're having a Conrad." And I didn't know what to nickname him, and just came up with Chip.
Chip. Cute. Anything else? How would you like to be remembered? 4 questions to go, Grandma. You're going strong. How would you like to be remembered?
Oh, that I was a good grandma. Am I a good grandma? Just a kind, gentle soul. Hopefully they remember me that way.
She will.
They don't know me better.
Next question. Go. Say it loud.
For your great-great-grandchildren listening to this years from now, is there any wisdom you'd like to pass on to them? What would you want them to know?
Anything? You pretty much said it. You know,
Yeah.
honesty, be happy, make the best of all your opportunities.
And give yourself to the Lord.
And give yourself to the Lord. That's Grandma in a nutshell, all those things. Next question.
Describe your children, grandkids, and family. What are you most proud of with a large family?
Well, you did pretty much all that, and if you describe your family, we might be here all day. But what are you most proud of with a large family?
That everybody married well, and they having good Christian families.
Have you met Doug? Just joking. Everybody married well, and we have good Christian families.
Good marriages. Good
We do.
marriages. Yes.
0 divorces
Yes.
out of, I mean, you figure the national average is like 50%, and we only have 2 from my dad. Everybody else has been married. There's got to be one eventually, but we've done a great job. We've been lucky.
Yes. Everybody's chosen well.
And it's amazing. You've told me this before. How close our family is for how big it is.
This is one of the things I'm most proud of, is that the family is so close, and I would say best friends.
Absolutely. And what's the one place you always tell me that brings the whole family together?
Oh,
it's
yes.
everybody's favorite place.
Yes, the cabin, and I told everybody last year that make sure that the 4th of July is reunion day of the year. So every 4th of July, that's got to be reunion. If no other time you get together, you got to get together.
You
on
hear that?
day.
So generations from now, you play this recording for the 600 Lawrences and say, get together at the cabin. Let me just ask the question. We're almost done, but what was the cabin like when you first got it?
Oh.
I mean,
when we first went out there, I have to tell you the story how it came about. This lady came into Commercial Federal to Grandpa, and she was going to lose. She's getting a divorce. She's going to lose her house and her cabin. And so Dad said, I will pay your house off for the cabin. If you give me the cabin, I will pay your house off and you can keep your house. So that's what happened. And so we got this cabin, and Grandpa took me out to the cabin, and after looking at it, I said, when you do something with it, I'll come back. Otherwise, forget it. It was horrible. The windows were all barred up. There were still food. There were no walls inside. It was all studs and filth written all over it because a boy from UNO had orgies out there, the neighbors told me later.
Can you explain that to Kendall and Deb? Just joking around. Okay.
They just had a lot of parties. And there was still food in the dishes on the table. The weeds were up past the windows. You couldn't go out to the lake because it was a drop-off. Grandpa dredged it all and made so you could walk into the water.
How many other cabins were out there at the time?
It was about the same.
Same amount?
On the other across the lake, some cabins were built since then, but it's pretty much about like it was, but modernized now, of course.
At what point do you think it came to be the Lawrence hangout place for like 4th of July and those kind of things? Well, I'm sure it was a few years. I remember people telling me that they used to have to walk in the water and pick out garbage and trash and at least make it so it's swimmable.
Yeah, I don't know. It was. We only had it 5 years when Grandpa died, and he devoted every weekend to that cabin.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, he was out there every single weekend working on it and trying to get it up to where I would go out.
That's funny. All right. 2 more questions, I believe.
If you were to give advice to me or my children or even children to come in our family, what would it be?
I'm sorry, I had these all in order before and they weren't repeat questions, but Grandma's pretty much said that. Follow the Lord, make the best out of every opportunity, save your pennies, and be happy. Next question. I think we already asked that one too, right? What do you want your it's how do you want to be remembered? What we asked, what do you want to Okay, so we're all done. Kendall, tell me one thing you learned today.
Love.
Anything. All right, I learned about my great-grandpa George, my grandpa Leo I knew, and I learned about my great-uncle Mike going down in one of the World War I boats. I learned that Grandma and Grandpa was 44 years old when he passed away, and great-grandpa was 44 years when he passed away, and they had both been married for 14 years? 22 years. That's amazing. That's wild. And then there was one more. Anywho, I learned a lot. Thank you for taking your time to do this, Grandma. I want you to... Oh, one last thing. Yeah. I love you. But tell me the story about my birth in the toilet.
You weren't born in the toilet.
I was breached. I was breached in the toilet.
No. Okay, it was Thanksgiving Day, and your grandma came into my bedroom. Grandpa was already dead then. Your grandma came into my bedroom and said, I got a stomach ache. And I said, well, that's because you ate things today that you can't eat. Every American food upset her stomach. And so I said, take an aspirin and go to bed. I really am not that ornery.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Insensitive.
Yeah. And so she went to bed, and pretty soon she came out. And I said, honey, try to go to the bathroom. So she went into the bathroom, and then she let out a screech and said, look. I ran in there, and she said, look, and there was blood in the stool. And I said, that's all right. We'll call the doctor, and we'll see what they have to say. No, look at this, she says. And there was your dad's head sticking out a couple of inches maybe. And so I quick grabbed her and practically threw her on the floor. and called the Offutt Air Force Base, and they said, well, ma'am, we don't come in to get people. And so then I called University Hospital, and they sent an ambulance over and took them to the hospital. And so Steve was home on leave at that time. So Steven went with Sung Im to the hospital. I said, I'll follow you, and I get in the car, and I go to the hospital, and I said, you had an emergency come in? They said, no. I went to the wrong hospital. Yeah, I went to county hospital. Yeah, and so then by the time I got there, they said the baby went back in, and she delivered later.
And how much did I weigh? Do you recall? Because there's a big debate in the family. I always tell everybody, I mean, not how much I weighed. I think I weighed 2.5 pounds. But I always tell people I was
11. It was either 211 or 311. I thought it was 311, and you told me no, it was 211.
Wow,
so.
what would I know?
I don't know. Well, I figured from birth certificate
Yeah.
from something.
Yeah, I do have the birth certificate. I'll have to check that out. But then also, how many months premature was I? Do you remember? Because that was the debate Dee, Mary, and I had.
Oh, I don't know exactly.
Do you know when she was due?
No.
No. Will you just say 3.5 months premature, and I'll edit it out, me coaching you to say that, so I can play that for Mary?
I thought you had told me March. When we, at my
Yeah, I
bridal
don't remember.
shower, I thought you said March, and then I was trying to do the math.
About 3.5. So just for me, would you just say 3.5? Ready? I'll edit
Oh,
it
it
out of
sounds
there.
good to me.
Ready, Grandma? So, Grandma, how many months premature would you say I was?
Oh, no. I don't know. 3.5.
All right. I love you, Grandma.
Okay.
Go ahead and say I love you.
I love you.
All right. Sweet. Are you sure you're finished recording? Yeah.